Again, a surprising small slate for Monday. Usually the Monday, Wednesday, Friday slates are the bigger ones, but 3 games. We'll go over what we know. We got 30 minutes to lock. It's a later lock today. We'll go over what we know so far. So, yeah, if you guys, again, enjoy this free content, appreciate hitting that like button and hitting that notification bell. Those 2 things really do help me out. All right, so let's get into it. Let's see, Bembry ruled out, not really big news. John Collins, Herder, Hunter, Jeff Teague, all available to play. Let's see, a lot of this stuff is for Tuesday since there's only 3 games today. The Bulls actually announced their starting lineup already for the game on Tuesday. Just thought I'd bring that up. It's kind of funny. Good for them, though. Fred VanVleet out. Big news here is Bledsoe doubtful, right? And George Hill, both of them, I believe, got ruled out already. So, yeah, now there is more value to talk about on Milwaukee. Definitely increases the chance of a blowout, too, with them being pretty shorthanded. But we'll talk about the Bucks here in a bit. Marc Gasol out. Kind of expected that in the back-to-back. So, I like BAKA, a good amount of his price. The Hawks are starting Young, Herder, Hunter, Collins, and Dedmon. Let's see. So they're not going to use Hernangomez as the backup center. So CODY ZELLER's going to start. They're going to use BISMACK as the backup center. So Hernangomez will be out of the rotation. Do not play Willy Hernangomez. And that's what we know so far. So let's take a look at some Vegas numbers here. I might have to refresh this, actually. Yeah, so Hornets, Hawks, 223 over-under. The Hawks are 4.5-point favorites here. The Bucks and the Nuggets, 221 over-under. The Nuggets are 6-point favorites. Raptors and Jazz, 224.5 over-under with the Jazz 6-point favorites. So let's just jump into it. We'll start with Charlotte. So I like Charlotte here, right? It's just a really pace-up spot. I think probably trying to get at least one of their main 4 guys with Rozier, Graham, Washington, and Zeller or Bridges into your lineup is not a bad idea at all. My favorites are probably the 2 guards with Rozier and Graham just because they flash the most upside. They're basically the same to me. Right? I don't really lean strongly one towards the other with Rozier or Graham. It's basically a coin flip for me, so that one's a tough one. I think you can play both if you really want to. That'll be a little bit more contrarian, but I definitely think getting one of those guards in your lineup is a pretty solid idea. As far as the 2 wings with Washington and Bridges, I guess I slightly give the edge to Washington just because of the minutes recently, right? 32, 35, 32, and 33. Whereas Bridges has gotten 32, 28, 27. So kind of trending down a little bit for Bridges. So I would give the edge to Washington over Bridges. With those 2 wings. As far as the center rotation, again, don't play Hernangomez. He's going to be out of the rotation. Zeller's going to start. I have some interest in BISMACK BIYOMBO at 3.9. He's going to come off the bench, probably play, around 20 minutes. I think he's actually a pretty solid value play that gets maybe a little bit overlooked today. But I do like BIYOMBO a decent amount here as a punt option. Again, he's going to be the backup now. I think CODY ZELLER makes it an interesting play at 4.9. I think the price tag makes it, he's a little bit pricey, so not a lot of people are going to get to him. But if we get 25 or so minutes from him against Atlanta, he can definitely still get you there at this price. So I do have some interest there in Zeller as well. As far as the value here for Charlotte, besides BIYOMBO, again, I don't think we have to go with any. Like Cody Martin at 4.5, probably not for me. They also bring Dwayne Bacon now back from the G League, so that's just another body in the rotation. So I'm not really confident with any of the Caleb Martin or and then just basically starting 5, right? So I think, probably trying to get one of those 2 guards with Rozier and Graham in your lineup is a good idea. I think you can play both if you want to, but I think the ideal build would probably be just play one of those guards. Let's talk about Atlanta. So again, there's really not a whole lot to spend up on here. I think Trae Young and John Collins are going to eat up some ownership just because, again, there's really not anything to spend up for. I think John Collins to actually be a little bit more popular would be my best guess just because of his performance recently. He's been a little bit more consistent, whereas Trae Young hasn't been great recently. Now, this is where I like buying low on guys, and I think the ownership will be maybe a little bit lower on Trae. That's just my best guess, so I would prefer Trae Young over John Collins if you make me pick. I think you can play both if you want to, and just kind of fade Jokic, right? I think that is a viable option, and just kind of load up in this game, right? Go Trae Young, John Collins, and one of the Charlotte guards, and maybe one of the wings. Kevin Huerter, I don't think I get to him. We have Hunter available. We have Reddish available. It just doesn't really stand out to me. Again, Hunter and Reddish, probably not for me. Dwayne Dedmon's the guy I have interested at 4.1. He's going to start at center. We probably get around 20 or so minutes from him. He shot about 1 of 11 last game, still put up 20 fancy points. Again, it's a good matchup too. So I do like Dwayne Dedmon as a cheap option. Teague and the value guys, probably not for me with everyone basically healthy now for Atlanta. So that kind of does it for the Hawks. Again, it's Trae Young and John Collins at the top for me. Don't really have a whole lot of interest in the mid-tier guys with Huerter, Hunter, and Reddish. I do like Dedmon as a cheap option. And then below that, don't think we have to go to Teague or Carter or Goodwin. So let's talk about Toronto now. Still no Fred VanVleet. I don't think I get to Powell, though, even at that price, just because he is very scoring dependent. He's literally going to have to get you 30 real-life points to get you value. So this is where I'm going to hop off. I know he's had 3 straight really solid games. It's a bad matchup, though. I'm not going to get Norman Powell in this one. I think my favorite play here on Toronto is definitely SERGE Ibaka at 5.9. We're probably going to get at least 30 minutes from him in this one. So I love him in this price. One of my favorite plays of the day. I just think he's way too cheap. I know the matchup's not necessarily great, but love Ibaka there. I don't think I get to OG. Again, I don't think I get to Powell. I think the other 2 guys I have some interest in are the 2 guys at the top with Siakam and Lowry. Now, I think they're going to go very low owned just because the way roster construction works, everyone's going to play Middleton. I think people are going to try to get one of Trae Young or John Collins in the lineup. I think people will try to get Jokic in the lineup, and then I think they're going to try to get one of those Charlotte guards. So it makes it a little bit tricky to get to these Toronto guys, the spend-ups at least, with Siakam and Lowry. So I think it makes it for them interesting contrarian plays. Both of them can still get you there. Lowry at 8.4, Siakam at 8.7. So yeah, I do have interest in those guys. Again, I think they're a little bit more contrarian. Again, I'm not going to get to Powell. I'm not going to get to OG. Ibaka, I love. He's one of my favorite plays of the day. Punt play of the day is Chris Boucher at 3.5. I have no idea what the minutes going to be like. He could play 5 minutes. He could play 25, right? So this is one, how risky do you feel? I think you're making multiple lineups. You can throw him in there one just for the odd chance that they could extend him just because he's a great point per minute guy. So definitely would not go there for like a cash game or single entry. But if you're making a lot of lineups and want to get risky in one, I think taking a shot at Boucher is not the worst idea just because he does have huge upside when he gets some minutes. I'm not going to get to anyone on the bench, though, like RHJ, McCaw, Terrence Davis. Those are all pass options for me. Again, the starters just play huge minutes. So all in all, love Ibaka. He's probably my favorite play here. And then Lowry and Siakam as contrarian spend-ups. And then Chris Boucher as a punt option I have some interest in. On the Utah side, there's honestly not a whole lot I like here. I think Mike Conley, my favorite play for his price at 5.3. We're probably going to get at least 30 minutes from him. He's been pretty solid. I think he's a little bit underpriced. So I do like Mike Conley. But other than that, I don't see myself getting to anyone here. Gobert and Mitchell are pass options for me. Again, there's more contrarian spend-ups. But I would probably prefer getting to those Toronto spend-ups compared to the Utah guys. Bojan Bogdanovic, too scoring dependent for me. I understand if you want to go there, but just not someone I like playing because of his volatility. So I'll pass there. Again, I think he is in play for GPPs, but does have a very low floor. I'm not going to get to Ingles at that price. Clarkson at 4.2, I think is a viable cheap option just because, again, he can get hot. He can knock down threes. He's an okay GPP play. I don't think we have to go Royce O'Neal at that price. And then that really does it. So yeah, Utah's a team I'm not super excited about. I think my favorite play there would be Mike Conley. Lastly, this is the big game, right? Well, first let's see if we got any more news, and then we can talk about Milwaukee. Let's see. Yeah, still nothing yet. I mean, we're not really waiting on anything, I guess. But yeah, no Bledsoe, or Bledsoe doubtful now. I really think you just play Middleton, move on. Don't get cute about it. I think the only way he doesn't get you there is if he gets in foul trouble, gets injured, or, I mean, even the game blows out, I still think he gets probably at least 35. So I think you play and move on. Don't get cute there. We also have no George Hill. So this is going to get really interesting now. So let's talk about the value guards I have interest in. DiVincenzo, I think, would be my next favorite play here at 4.8. I think he probably starts at point guard, probably gets at least 30 minutes. He's been a pretty good point per minute guy recently. So DiVincenzo and Middleton are my 2 priorities here on Milwaukee. Marvin Williams is way too expensive. I don't know what they're doing at his price. Brooke Lopez I have some interest in at 5.1, but I think I prefer Ibaka and then some of the cheaper centers. But he is a guy that still has upside, right? He's going to do a lot more offensively. No Giannis, no Bledsoe. So I do have interest still in Brooke Lopez. it's just probably not going to be the way that I go in this one. Ersan as a dart throw, right? Just because he played terribly the last game, 15 minutes, but you never know, right? We have seen big upside games from Ersan when Giannis has been out, right? We've seen him put up 40, even 50. So, and a lot of, Bledsoe's out too, George Hill's out too. So, definitely not a single entry play or a cash game play, but one of those you could take a dart throw for GPPs just because the upside is there if he's playing well. Let's talk about the guards. So, Wes Matthews is just, I don't think I get to him. He's too scoring dependent. Sure, he can put up over 20 if he's shooting the ball, if he knocks down those threes, but I would prefer Pat Connaughton here at 3.1. He's a guy that does a little bit more, fill up the stat sheet wise, gets the rebounds, assists. I think he gets more minutes. So I do have some interest here in Pat Connaughton at 3.1. Also, Sterling Brown, I think he probably gets some run, maybe play some backup point guard. So I have some interest there. I guess they could always dust off like Frank Mason. He hasn't played in, well, I guess he played 5 minutes a couple games ago. Like, there's a chance they could use him. So Kyle Korver is still going to be in the rotation, right? I'm not going to get to him. They could play DJ Wilson a few minutes. So I don't think we have to go crazy with our Milwaukee exposure, right? Just because they still have a lot of guys. So I definitely think it's Middleton, DiVincenzo are my priorities. And then, Brook Lopez I have some interest in. I have some interest in Pat Connaughton as a really cheap play. And that kind of really, maybe Sterling Brown or Frank Mason. But again, they still have a lot of guys that can use. So, I think it's Middleton, DiVincenzo, and then Connaughton is the value play if I was going to take a shot on one of the cheap guys. And then again, I think Brook Lopez is viable as well. On the Denver side, Jokic obviously stands out as a good spend up. There's really not a whole lot to spend up for on the slate, so I have some interest here. He has big upside. Has really flashed it recently, and again, Denver is more healthy now, so he's not as high of a usage guy anymore, but I still think he is definitely in play as a spend up. Jamal Murray and Will Barton are interesting. I don't think they go that high owned on the slate because I think the flocks are going to go to those Charlotte guards priced around them, right? I think Rozier and Devontae Graham are going to have a lot more ownership compared to Jamal Murray and Will Barton. And I don't know if that's necessarily right. Like, I think Jamal Murray and Will Barton both have pretty big upside. So those are two guys I do like, more contrarian options. But I still have interest in both of them. I think I'd prefer Will Barton for his price, but both those guys do kind of stand out in the mid-range there. Paul Millsap and Jeremy Grant are going to split the 4 minutes. Nothing I'm super excited about there. Gary Harris, I'll pass. Monte Morris at 3.9. I mean, he has actually been getting some decent run, right? 29, 23, 25, and 22. I think he's definitely in play as a value option. Plumlee's more of a dart throw, but he can get you there in like 15 or so minutes. And that really does it for Denver. So we got about 15 minutes to lock. Let me refresh this one more time. Then I can give you guys my core plays for today. Let's see. Nothing else. So, I guess we'll just give you guys my core. So, Middleton, obviously, right? He's going to be basically 95% owned. Sure, you can take a shot. If you're making like 10 lineups, you can fade him in one and just hope the game blows out or something crazy happens. Anything can really happen. So, sure, you can fade him if you really want to, but definitely not for single entry. I think you play him and move on. Ibaka, again, I think he's way too cheap with no Marc Gasol. I think we probably get at least 30 minutes from Ibaka, so really like Ibaka. I'm going to go DiVincenzo. He's also going to be really popular today, but again, he's probably going to get some good run at the point guard position. Him and Middleton are my main priorities there. And then lastly, let's see. Who do I want to give you guys? Let's see. I think it's one of the Charlotte guards, right? And it's basically coin flip for me. So Rozier or Devontae Graham, I think you probably try to get one of those guys in your lineup. Again, that's really a coin flip. I don't have a strong lean either way, but one of those guys against Atlanta probably has a really solid day. So I think those three paired with one of the Charlotte guards is a pretty good way to start your lineups. All right, let's get to some questions here. Again, if you guys enjoy this content, would appreciate if you hit that like button. It does really help me out to get more views. We got 135 people in here, only 15 likes. So, slate is trash. I agree. I got $4. I don't hate that. I think if you're going $4, you're probably going a little bit more stars and scrubs. Will Barton or Washington? Again, that's a close one for me too. I think if you can get to Will Barton, I would prefer Will Barton, but I do like both. Conley, DiVincenzo, Middleton. Let's see. Conley, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Zeller, Ibaka. Agree 100%, Ryan. LO trash. My GPP line is Conley, DiVincenzo, Middleton, John Collins, Brook Lopez, Powell, Bridges, and Ibaka. No issue there. Consider MPJ. I don't think he gets enough minutes for me to consider him. Mike Malone just really does not want to give him minutes. He's 3.4K. Yeah, I don't think we have to do that. How many Hornets is too many in single entry? I think 3 is. I don't think I would go over 3 for Charlotte. Yeah, I think 3 is probably the way to go at most. Favorite play under 3,800 utility. Let's see, 3,800 utility. It would have been probably BIYOMBO, but he's 3.9K. Yeah, I mean, I think Plumlee's probably a safe option. He's going to get 15 minutes, probably gets you 15 to 20 fancy points. If you want the dart throw, right, Boucher, he could play 5 minutes. He could play 25. If he gets that 25, he could absolutely crush. So if you want to take the shot in Boucher and hope he gets some minutes, that's fine. Other than that, it's probably one of the Milwaukee guys, right? I think Connaughton would be my priority there of a cheap option. Murray or Powell, I'll go Jamal Murray. Gobert, super low on Contrarian. He's going to be very low on, yeah. Not for me, but I get it if you want to go there for ownership. Cody Martin, I'll pass. I got Jeremy Grant. He's fine. Not super excited about that. DK, Cash, Bridges, or Herter. For cash games, probably Herter just because he's going to get a little bit more run, but they're pretty similar plays for me too. Conley, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Zeller. Conley, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Zeller, Jokic, Graham, Washington, Ibaka. Yeah, that's really similar to mine. Should we get Trae in 100%? I don't think you have to play him in 100%. I am playing Trae Young just because I'm kind of a Trae Young guy and I love his upside. He's been bad recently, so I think that's going to somewhat lower his ownership. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to go Trae, it's John Collins, it's Jokic. Those are the 2 spend-up options. Can you play Zeller and BIYOMBO? There would be some negative correlation there. The thing is, BIYOMBO is cheap enough where, like, even if he gets like 15 minutes, he can probably get you 20 fancy points. So I think you can do it. It's not optimal, but I think you can. Teague, not bad. Yeah, that's going to be a low-owned play, right? He is 3.8. He probably gets 20 minutes. I think he's fine. Again, I'm not super excited about that. Pat Connaughton, yep. Grant, O'Neal, or Plumlee. Well, Jeremy Grant, if you can get to him. You can go Plumlee, 3,600. Yeah, again, Plumlee is a guy that's going to get about 15 minutes. He probably gets you 15 to 20 fancy points. I think he's fine. Value option. Let's see. Hornets, Graham, Rozier, Bridges, Washington, Zeller. Again, we kind of expected that. Ready to rock. Good luck, man. What's Trae's ownership? If I had to guess, I would say, let's see. I'm trying to think. So Middleton's obviously going to be the ultimate chalk. So that's a high, price guy that's unavailable or, going to eat up some salary. I think one of the Charlotte guards, again, I think a lot of people will go that direction too. I think, Jokic is going to be pretty popular, and I think one of either John Collins or Trae Young. So if I had to guess on Trae Young's ownership on a 3-game slate, I'd probably say about 30%, 35%. I'm loving BISMACK, Zeller getting in foul trouble. Yeah, I think BISMACK's a guy that is going to go overlooked in this slate, but he's going to get that Hernan Gomez run, so probably close to 20 minutes. He's normally a pretty productive guy when he gets runs, so I do have some interest in BISMACK BIYOMBO as a cheap option. Lowry, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Ibaka, Bridges, Washington, Grant, Murray. Happy 422. Best game stack. It's probably Charlotte, Atlanta. Another good show. Keep this shit up. Hey, appreciate that, man. Brook Lopez, Gary Harris, or Will Barton, Wes Matthews. Minutes for Sterling Brown. For those two, let's see. I'd probably give the edge there to Will Barton, Wes Matthews, and just hope Wes Matthews gets you like 15 to 20. Minutes for Sterling Brown. I think probably about 20 would be my best guess for Sterling Brown. But again, they could dust off Frank Mason, so you never really know. I think about 20 would be a safe projection. Again, I prefer Connaughton as a really cheap play, though. Am I crazy for fading Jokic and cash? He's been disappointing lately. No, I'm not playing Jokic. Well, I'm not playing him in GPPs. Again, I'm playing Trae Young. My spend ups are Trae Young, Middleton. Well, I guess only Trae Young and Middleton, since those are, yeah, only the really pricey guys. Monte Morris, I think Monte Morris is viable. He's going to get 20, 25 minutes. He's a guy that can get you over 20. So he's a cheap option you can consider. Really, really surprising. I was excited for a nice slate to talk about to start the week. But, yeah, let's see. Connaughton or Dedmon. If you can get to Dedmon, I would prefer Dedmon. But I like both those guys as cheap options. Let's see. Graham, DiVincenzo, Middleton, PJ Washington, Trae, O'Neal, and Lopez. That's fine, right? O'Neal, not overly excited about it, but he can get you 15 to 20. This slate sucks. It does suck. I said that in my video, too. It sucks. I would recommend taking it easy, guys. Do not go crazy. Frank Mason. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a decent chance he gets in the rotation. He's like a punt play. I don't know. Like, I think that could be a dart throw, too, Frank Mason, just because when he gets minutes, normally he's a pretty productive guy. He's at the flat min, obviously. Where is he? 3K. I mean, he's a point guard, so you never know. Maybe he gets some minutes over Sterling Brown. I think you can take a shot there. Again, I wouldn't feel great about it, but Reddish or Hunter, I'm not super excited about those mid-tier Atlanta guys. I guess I would go Hunter over Reddish, but don't feel great about either. You didn't tell me what you think, who I should remove. Who you should remove from that lineup. Lowry, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Ibaka, Bridges, Washington, Grant, Murray. I'm not super excited about Jeremy Grant, so I guess Jeremy Grant. Gary Harris, 30 fantasy points last 3 games. Yeah, but he's scoring dependent, and he's not a very high usage guy. I'll pass on that one. This slate is definitely yeah, definitely. Let's see. Slates, but money to be made, in my opinion. Graham or Rozier, again, that's really a coin flip. I don't have a strong lean, I should say. I think probably getting one of those guys in your lineup is a good way to go about it. 6.2K utility, ugly. Let's see, 6.2K. I mean, I would say Ibaka, but I assume you already have him. Next play for me would probably be Will Barton or Washington or Conley. So again, Ibaka if you don't have him. If not, one of those 3. Slate sucks, but money to be made. You can argue that. It's just the small slates are a lot more variance. I'm not super big in the small slates. DiVincenzo, 40-plus fantasy points tonight. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be really chalky, too. Young, Bridges, DiVincenzo, Dwayne Dedmon, Collins, Graham, Grant, PJ Washington. I need your plus on this. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty similar to mine. Young, Bridges, DiVincenzo, Dwayne Dedmon, Collins, Graham, Grant, PJ Washington. Yeah, I mean, if you're high in Grant, that's fine. I think he's an okay value, right? Where is he at? He's 4.3. Him and Millsap are gonna split the 4. He can get you 20. Yeah, not super excited about it, but I get 4 Hornets too many. I think so. I think the limit is 3. Now I do have 3 in my lineup, but I don't think I would go over 3. Turner, O'Neal, and Grant ugly at power forward. Yeah, I mean that's super ugly too. I think Grant probably has a little bit more upside versus O'Neal, so I guess Jeremy Grant over O'Neal. Yeah, power forward is really, really ugly today, guys. Like if you're not spending up for John Collins, it is tough. Like I currently have Cody Zeller in. I don't feel great about that. I know I'm probably overpaying a little bit for Cody Zeller, but it's just a gross position. Trae, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Washington, Ibaka, Graham, Bridges, and BIYOMBO. Yep, again, very, very similar to mine as well. I like that. Do you trust Mitchell? He's probably not for me. Now, that Utah-Toronto game is going to go pretty unowned. So If you're a guy that wants to get low ownership guys, right? Siakam and Lowry, they're going to be low owned. Donovan Mitchell and Gobert are going to be low owned. Now, they can still have upside, right? Donovan Mitchell and Gobert, like Mitchell can get you 50 on a good night. Gobert can get you like 45. We know Siakam and Lowry have upside. So if you want to get contrarian and go with one of those guys and maybe fade like fade a Trae Young, John Collins, or Jokic, I don't hate that idea, right? If you want to get different, you're going to have to differentiate yourself somehow in a 3-game slate. Going with one of those guys, one of those spin-ups in this game is obviously not ideal, but it does differentiate yourself. So I don't hate the idea of doing that. Murray, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Collins, Washington, Lowry, Connaughton, Harris. Fine with that. Graham or Rozier if you had to pick. Give me Rozier, but again, that's a coin flip for me. I like Siakam and Washington over Collins, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think you had to play John Collins. What do you think of Murray? I think Murray's a pretty good option. I think he goes a bit low, overlooked today, Jamal Murray. So, yeah, I like his upside. He is scoring dependent, but he does, have that 40, 50 fantasy point upside. Wish you could put Ibaka at power forward and DK. I know, same. Thoughts on Barton? I like Barton as well. I think, Barton and Jamal Murray go a little bit overlooked today because I think everyone's going to try to get Jokic or Trae Young or John Collins and Middleton obviously spin ups in the lineup. I think they're probably going to try to get at least 2 or 3 of those guys. So kind of in that mid-tier, right, Jamal Murray, Will Barton, I think those guys go a little bit more forgotten about. Kyle Lowry, love. I have some interest in Kyle Lowry, more of a contrarian option though. Dumb to leave 800 left over. Nope, I mean, you're going to have a unique lineup, so I don't think that's dumb. Anunoby tonight, not for me. OG or Washington DK, I'll go PG or Washington. Dedmon or Lopez. Lopez if you have the money, but I do like Dedmon as a value play. Going with Pat Connaughton, what will be the minutes good versus Nuggets last game? Yeah, so I think Pat Connaughton probably gets 25 or so minutes, maybe a little bit more. He would be my preferred, basically min-price guy there on Milwaukee. Marvin Williams, too expensive, 5K, I'll pass. Let's see. Marvin Williams, yep, not for me. Thanks, buddy. I'm going to go with my gut and keeping my lineup the way it is. So, yeah, always go with your gut too, guys. Again, if you feel strong about one guy, go with it. Powell or OG. I'm not high in either. I'll go Powell. But those are 2 guys I'll be avoiding today. Let's see. Only playing $2. I only have $2 in my lineup. I have Middleton, DiVincenzo. That's it right now, I believe. Right? Hold on. Yeah, I'm going a little bit more mid-tier. Let's see. Hey DK, you reckon Bucks can keep it close and back-to-back without 2 of their best plays? I mean, there definitely is a little bit of blowout risk for sure. So that you got to take that in consideration. It is only a 6-point spread. I think if I was a betting man, I probably would bet Denver to cover that. So, yeah, there is a little bit of blowout risk there. I'm playing 8 25-cent lineups tonight. Investing more than $2 on the hideous slate just seems like a bad idea. Kind of agree with you there. I'm playing a little bit more than I should probably. I'm playing the $40 single entry. Washington or Bridges. Again, I'll go Washington for the minutes. What's up, fellow DK? Single entry GPP. DiVincenzo, Harris, Middleton, Washington, Brook, Lopez, Trae, Connaughton, Collins. I like that. Graham Rozier, again, that's a coin flip, but I will go Rozier if you're going to make me pick. Let's see. We're basically at lock. I'm curious to see what the ownership is in this first game. Again, I do have a lot of guys in the first game. I have 5 guys from the Charlotte-Atlanta game in my lineup. Don't feel great about that, obviously, but it's a 3-game slate. So let's see. Young, Trae Young, Bridges, DiVincenzo, John Collins, Dwayne Dedmon, Graham, Grant, Murray. Got no issue there. Lowry and Siakam or Young and Murray. I would go Young and Murray there over Lowry and Siakam. Let's see. It's not loading yet. Okay, let's take a look at some ownership here. So, or the $44 tournament. That's the one I'm in. All right. I'm kind of liking this ownership. Trae Young, only 24% owned. Terry Rozier, only 20%. I got Cody Zeller at 20%, Dedmon at 16%, and PJ Washington at 38%. I got some low-owned guys here. I'm curious to see what everyone else's ownership is. Devonte Graham, 51%. So that's a situation, right, where Devonte Graham and Terry Rozier are basically identical plays to me. And Graham's 50%, Rozier's 20%. I'm all over Rozier at 20% there. I have an edge over the field. That's a situation. I am very, very happy about getting to Rozier over Graham just for the ownership, right? Went Lowry, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Ilyasova, Zeller, Conley, Collins, Lopez. Yep, so Ilyasova is going to be your low-owned guy, but he does have upside. Middleton outscore Jokic. There's a possibility. Let's see. DeAndre Hunter, 3%. Bridges at 25%. Cam Reddish at 4%. And Devonte Graham, 51%. I am perfectly fine getting to Rozier over Graham there. John Collins at 33%. So the way this is shaping up right now, not a lot of guys are very high owned besides Devonte Graham. Cody Martin, 10%. So I took Graham over Rozier. I mean, that's fine, right? He's higher owned. I'm just saying I like getting the lower owned guy when they're pretty similar to me. I hope Dedmon gets 25 minutes tonight. He could. So with everyone being pretty low owned, on this one at least, on this first game, that leads me to believe that Middleton obviously is going to be like 100% owned. I think BAKA is going to be very popular, and I think Jokic is going to be very, very popular. Like, with Trae Young and Trae Young's like 25%, like John Collins like 30%. That really leads me to believe that Jokic is going to be really, really popular tonight, because there's just not a whole lot of other spin-ups to get to. Barton or Bogdanovich, I'll go Barton. Quarter jukebox, Trae 31%, Rozier 23%, Collins 25%, Graham 40%, Washington 38%. Lopez outscored Barton. I would probably prefer Barton over Lopez there, although what ownership is even considered a chalk in 3-game slate? That's very true. Trae Young, low owned. Yeah, I mean, I like that, right? I know he hasn't been good the last couple games, but I got Trae Young at 20% owned at 3-game slate. I will take that all day. I know, back-to-back bad games, but Trae Young has 60, 70 fantasy point upside. He can break the slate. If he has an upside game, if he goes for 60 plus, 70 plus, I'm in amazing shape. So, yeah, and some of the other guys, right? Rozier's not that high owned. I'm fine with that. I got Trae at 30% in the 40. Yeah, and the $44 one, at least that I'm in, he's only 24%. So I like that. All right, I'm going to hop out of here, guys. So I hope you guys all have a good night. Hopefully you win some money. I'll be back for a video, obviously, for the Tuesday slate. That'll be up later tonight. So thanks again, guys. Good luck, and I will see you all later.